Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday and happy So What Day. Welcome. This is our space where we're going to talk about what we're sewing, and I'm going to give you some inspiration for a little back to school project. I know there's many of us who are no longer going back to school. However, it's back to school sort of season, and this project would be great for any student, middle schooler, high schooler, college student, and beyond. It's also great for travel and for just kind of organizing a larger tote bag, things like this. So it doesn't have to be technically for school, but it's an appropriate project for this time of year. And I think you will all like how it comes together. It's really just a series of rectangles. There's tons of pockets. It folds together and closes up with a little bit of fold over elastic to keep everything nice and tidy. So you can throw it in your tote bag, backpack, that type of thing. Organize your receipts, even maybe organize your sewing project lists and all kinds of things. So we'll get into that momentarily. And I see a number of you are already in the chat saying hello and good morning. So continue to put your questions, comments. Tell me where you're watching from there in the live chat, because as long as you do so, you will be eligible to win today's gift from Sulky, which is a 12-pack of 50-weight cotton thread in our Sunshine and Daydreams assortment. That's right. I thought we all needed a little bit of sunshine and daydreams right about now. There's a lot of rain in happening right now during the summer. It's a blessing and a curse sometimes, isn't it? But at any rate, Sunshine and Daydreams Thread Palette, it's full of yellows and oranges and, all of those great summery, sunshine, sunrise colors and vibes. So that's a really, really great little gift from Sulky today for one lucky viewer who is watching and commenting and sharing out today's live stream. That's all you need to do. You also need to have liked our Facebook page if you're watching from there, or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching from there. Otherwise, I can't get a hold of you if you do win today's gift. So be sure to do those things. And don't worry, if you are chosen randomly as the winner, I have a little identifying factor that I will send to you so you'll know that I'm not a spam bot or, all of those crazy things that have really ruined giveaways, right? Am I right? And so many other things as well. All right, so I'm recognizing so many of your names. Good morning from California. Sheila has a question about one of our craft tours trips, which is what I was going to talk about next, actually. As you probably know, if you watch So What frequently every Tuesday, we are headed to Bali in October. And you will want to check this tour out because it is an amazing bucket list tour. All of the quintessential things you would ever want to do in Bali, including attending a batik expo, learning how to batik your own fabrics, and then I'm going to take you through a workshop to use that fabric, or perhaps another one that you've purchased at the expo, to create something really cool and, commemorate our trip together. So you can check out this tour. It's October 5th through 14th. It is with Craft Tours. They're absolutely amazing. They put together these itineraries that are just mind-blowing. I mean, you really don't even have to research anything if you don't want to. You just show up, say, where are we going today? They take you there. You make new friends that you will have forever. And it's just a fantastic, fantastic time. Especially if, maybe you don't have anybody to travel with and you're on your own, but you want to explore these beautiful areas of the world. Come on a Craft Tours trip with me because you won't be alone for long. All right. And it's just a really, really great way to travel. So you can check out our Bali tour. I linked directly to it in the description of today's post. You'll find it at the bottom of the description of our project today. I list all the products so you can link and click and find all of those easily. And then I also linked directly to our Bali tour, as well as our India tour, which is happening in March of 2025. So it's a great time to start planning for 2025, because then you can get on a really manageable payment plan with craft tours, and you can make monthly payments up until, your tour or whenever the cutoff date is. And it just makes it a lot more manageable to get there, But Sheila is asking, is the trip to Greece available yet? And we are going to Greece in 2025. It's going to be in the end of May, early June. Perfect time to go to Greece. Kind of right before the big surge of tourists are going to be heading that way. So it's a really great time to go. Great weather. And that's going to be another bucket list destination. So that one is up on the Craft Tours site. You'll have to look for the Sulky Greece tour. However, it just says coming soon. So what you'll need to do is click on that, and then it will give you a sort of pop-up menu where you will need to select that tour and say that you're interested, and then they can tell you all about it. There's just some final details that need to be nailed down for that one, particularly lodging and things like that. So once those are finalized, it'll be up and ready for registering. And we have had an amazing amount of people asking about that Greece tour. So I'm sure it's going to fill up fast. And all the more reason to, get your intention in there, or at least ask about that particular tour so it gets up there faster. And again, then you can get on a payment plan for Greece, and it'll make that, ticket price or registration fee a little bit more manageable for you as the months go along. But speaking of saving a bit of money, if you are interested in India, if you register before August 1st, which is coming upon us fast, you will save $500 off of this tour. That is like no small chunk of change. So if you're interested in this one, it's going to be really embroidery centric. And we're going to be in India for the Festival of Holi, which is just an amazing experience, I'm sure. I've never been, and I can't wait to experience it with some of you, hopefully, as well. So that's a really great way to save a few dollars on this amazing trip by booking before August 1st. All right, let's see here. Another thing I want to make sure you are all aware of is our next free webcast. So while we're planning all these big extravagant trips, right, and spending our tax return or whatever we're doing to get some travel in the coming year, why not have a free sewing class? These are our free webcasts over at sewingonline.sulky.com, which is a separate website from sulky.com. So sulky.com is where you buy your kits and your thread and all of your goods for your sewing space and sewing projects. And sewingonline.sulky.com is where you get all of your Sulky education. And the reason there are two websites is because our education site is really interactive. It allows us to host a lot of different types of events. So we have free webcasts. We have video casts, which are longer format and include full video instruction of the project. We also have longer format sessions, which are even more in depth than our video casts, and they are all on demand. And you choose your own adventure with those sessions. So you can watch lesson 1 and then take a break and come back and watch lesson 2 and review the videos from lesson 1, etc., and they never expire. So those are really great sort of reference sessions that you will watch again and again for lots of different projects utilizing the same techniques. All right, so this is a free webcast happening August 9th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to take you through the Pinnacle Table Runner, which is a pattern that's designed by the crafty Gemini, Vanessa Vargas Wilson herself. We go way back to my Sew It All days on PBS, and I just love her so much. She has really, really great YouTube tutorials, has taught a number of people how to sew from the ground up, the absolute beginner. And she just has a really thoughtful way of presenting her materials. And this table runner can also be used to create placemats, mug rugs, larger quilts. We're just going to do a table runner size so it's a little bit more manageable, and it's a really great decoration piece or home decor piece for your transition from summer into fall. And with this great muted palette of the fabric collection, we're calling it Floral Farmhouse because it just kind of has that cozy farmhouse vibe. And it goes with a lot of existing home decor styles with the grays and the, creams and the subtle floral prints. I think it's a really, really pretty fabric collection. And of course, we have a kit that goes along with this free webcast too. You can see the full charm pack that you get with this. It's actually almost or a little bit more than half of a charm pack, because you only need 24 pre-cut squares, and then you'll need some background fabric, which also comes with the kit. So the background fabric is kind of what fills in either the outside of your triangle or your diamond windows or the inside, depending on which block you're working with. So I'm going to teach you how to use the Crafty Gemini ruler, use 5-inch charm squares, and we're going to use this ruler so that we have no fabric waste whatsoever when we're creating our blocks. Then I'm going to show you 5 or 6, I can't remember, different variations of placing the blocks for different looks. So no two table runners may look the same once you all get your hands on them and start arranging your blocks in different ways. The kit also comes with lots of sulky threads, of course. You'll get 1 thread spool to construct the blocks, a 50 weight cotton, nice lightweight thread. It's really great for piecing, especially where you have a lot of intersecting points, because it doesn't add a lot of bulk. So you probably know that when you're creating, points and things like this, and then you're piecing them together, you might have like a hard bump behind where those blocks meet. Well, when you use a really lightweight thread like the 50 weight cotton thread from Sulky, just kind of blends right into the fabric, and you don't have those bumps and telltale thread lines behind your piecing. So it's a really great thread for piecing and for lightweight quilting as well. So you can choose to use that to quilt in the ditch or to do some simple quilting on your table runner. But we're also including this beautiful palette of 6 spools of Sulky Filane thread to do big stitch quilting either by hand or machine. And I'm going to show you how that goes as well. And all 6 of the colors coordinate beautifully with the fabric collection, and you can use all the same color, or you can change it up like I did here. I've got the lightweight green, the darker sort of maroon color, and then the yellow color filane, and that is my big stitch quilting by hand. And then I also have a tutorial I will also be teaching how to use this really thick heavyweight thread in your sewing machine too. So if you don't want to do any hand quilting, we've got you covered. Also, you will be getting a pack of universal needles in an assortment size. So you have the size that you need for your lightweight 50 weight thread, as well as the size that you need for that heavyweight 12 weight filane thread, should you decide to sew it by machine. So you got your background fabric, your charm squares, all that thread, the needles, the ruler, and the kit's only $38.99. What? And what I love about this kit is, since you only need about 24 charm squares, you don't need to go investing in a big old charm pack of 50 where you would have a random set of squares left over. You get the squares that you need, and that's it. You also get your backing fabric or your background fabric, and you'll likely have enough background fabric to do your binding as well, but it really depends on how wide you like your binding, if you want to cut it on the bias versus on the straight grain, all these things. So I didn't want to say that the binding was included because everyone kind of has their own preferred method of binding their quilty items. So anyways, you'll love this kit. You'll love the webcast. I'm going to take you through how to create all these blocks, how to arrange all these blocks for different looks, how to use the ruler effectively to have no fabric waste, and then how to do all the different quilting. And we're going to do all this in 60 minutes. So join me August at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You do need to be registered for this event over at sewingonline.sulky.com. And then you will get an email notification when we're about to go live so that you can pop on in and watch from start to finish. Now, if you can't join on time, or if you can't watch in its entirety, or if you're busy that day, still register, because as soon as the live event ends, it will turn into an on-demand video. And as long as you're registered for it, you can access it in your own personal library on our education site and watch it whenever you want. So it's, again, a great resource that you can come to again and again. Every time you pull that ruler out and say, what did I use this for? You can go back to the Pinnacle Table Runner, learn how it all comes together, and make lots of different versions of this. And they will all look different depending on how you arrange your blocks. All right, so August 9, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, join me for the Floral Farmhouse Pinnacle Table Runner webcast. With the kit, you also get the full pattern as well. So the pattern will give you your step-by-step instructions, everything for cutting, and then tips for quilting. So if you want a little bit more in-depth for the sewing and the quilting and all that, be sure to watch the webcast, but the pattern does come with purchase of the kit only. All right. Also, just by registering, you will get this beautiful freebie design. You will get this mum spray design from our, what's it called? Our Fall Botanicals embroidery collection. We pulled out this mum spray design because it coordinates so beautifully with the table runner. So you could use the machine embroidery design or the hand embroidery design and add some little flourishes to your table runner. Or you can use this design on a number of other things as we move into the fall season. It would look great on a set of napkins that coordinates with your table runner. It would look great on some tea towels. So it's a really great versatile fall-ish floral design. All right, and yes, you get this absolutely free just by registering for the event. So great bonus. All right, let's see. Marilyn says, is the ruler included in the kit? Yes, the ruler is included in the Floral Farmhouse Pinnacle Table Runner kit. Linda is saying, what machine needle do you use for the filaine thread? We're going to use a size 100 16 needle. So I have had people say they use a 90-14 needle with success, but I like to go up to that size 100 because filaine has this additional fuzzy texture to it. Can you see how it's kind of fuzzy? That is on purpose to give it this yarn-like appearance. So it's almost got like a vintage flair to it when you add it to your quilty projects, which I absolutely love. I've even used this in a long arm machine with great success. And I'm going to give you some tips for working with it as we go through the webcast too. It's really great for handwork. It behaves a lot like our 12-weight cotton thread when you're using it by hand. But in the machine, we want to go up to a size 100 needle so that the needle eye has enough room to accommodate not only the thread thickness, but also the texture of the thread as well. So it's not sticking and wanting to break or, fray because there isn't enough room in that needle eye. So we want to go up to a size 100 needle for that. And that needle is included in the universal assortment pack that comes with the kit. All right. Let's see. Cheryl says I'm registered. All right. Having all the supplies in the kit is fabulous. I will mention with that kit, it does not come with the batting that you're going to need for your table runner, and it does not come with the backing fabric. So you can just choose a really simple backing fabric. On mine, I just went with a solid light gray for my backing that I just had in my stash. Or you can get a blender print that goes along with your fabrics. And technically it doesn't come with binding fabric. I was able to find some binding fabric in the same fabric collection for mine. I just happened to have it on hand, seriously. But like I mentioned, this is such a nice muted color palette. You could go with a gray blender for your backing and your binding, and you're off to the races, good to go. All right, let's see. Great that the needle is included. Yes, I love an assortment pack of needles when I'm working on a project where I'm going to use a lot of different weights of thread. I also just buy assortment needles whenever I need to re-up on needles because I want to make sure I have all those sizes that I use most frequently. All right. So another thing I want to make sure that you are aware of is we talked about this last week, but our crossbody case kit and video is available at sulky.com. Now, this is a really exciting kit, and it's unlike anything we have at sulky.com, aside from our So Good Sew Along roll-up, which we also released as a video and kit bundle. So this is very similar to that in that when you purchase this kit, you will get information for adding the full video, flippable pattern booklet, and Q&A right on the page, everything that you need to create this crossbody case with all the sulky support that you need is all included with the kit price. So you purchase up this kit, which includes faux leather, these beautiful sewing themed fabrics, 2 packs of needles, 3 spools of thread, all the hardware that you need to create your straps and all this. All of that is included with purchase of the kit. You also get full video instructions start to finish, so you can literally sew along to the video. If the video goes too fast for you, all you have to do is hit pause. Then when you get up to that point, you can hit play again and continue sewing along. As I mentioned, you get a flippable pattern booklet right there underneath the video, so you can also follow along with the instructions in written form while you are watching it being made in front of you. And then there's a Q&A box at the bottom of the page. Everything is housed on one page right there for you to easily navigate. At the bottom of the page, if you have a question, you simply type it in, and then we all get pinged over here and we can answer your question as quickly as possible. So it's a really, really awesome way to work your way through a kit and a pattern, especially if you're new to sewing faux leather or you've never tried quilting before. This is a really great, easier than you might expect pattern. The crossbody case, it's about 7.5 by 8.5, something like that. So it's rather small. It is meant to fit your phone, a bit of cash, a small coin purse, your keys, just your essentials for when you just are running to the coffee shop or taking the dog for a walk or something like that. The strap is removable and fully adjustable. So if you like to wear your bag a little bit closer to your body, you simply adjust the strap. If you like it to be down past your hips, you simply adjust the strap. Then again, you can remove the swivel clips, take all of your essentials and put them into a larger tote bag and then take it along with you. So it's a really great versatile bag in a really great size that you can use either alone or inside of a larger bag. It also features a little bit of quilting on the front. As you can see, it is shaped or pieced almost to look like a little thread spool. Now, maybe the outsiders outside of the sewing world wouldn't recognize it as such, but you know it's a wink and a nudge to your love of sewing with that cute little thread spool shape on the front of the case. And I'll teach you how all of that comes together and is combined with faux leather for some really great durability and a little high-end touch as well. This is only $39.99 for this kit, the pattern, the full video instruction, the Q&A, the sulky support, all of that is built into the price of this kit. It's an amazing deal. So if you are going to grab up your Pinnacle Table Runner kit and you're at $38.99 and you want to get up to that free shipping threshold, which is $60, add this one to your cart too. You'll have 2 kits ready to go. You don't even have to think about it. Everything's included. And then you have all of your video support as well right there waiting for you. And you're off to the races. All right. So I think that's all the business I had to share with you before we get started on our backpack organizer. So honestly, I got the idea for this project at the end of the school year a couple months ago. And that is because my kids were coming home after emptying their lockers at the end of the school year, and it was like something blew up in their backpack, okay? Papers everywhere, notebooks everywhere, pens, pencils. It was truly nightmarish for me, who I'm very organized and type A, which I know it doesn't appear as such by the look of my sewing room right now, but I like to think I'm pretty darn organized for the most part. At any rate, I don't know if this will help them. They may still come home at the end of the school year with their stuff everywhere, but I got the idea for this to include a bunch of pockets where they could kind of at least try to keep their things organized. And it would be great to have one of these for like each subject, like for, you know, a kid who's going into high school and all of a sudden is going to have 6 periods full of stuff. Maybe they have one for math, science, reading. You get the idea. You could even add embroidery to the front of here to label it. Or you can make one for yourself. This would be another great thing to throw in your tote bag with your crossbody case. You have everything kind of neatly organized inside of a larger tote. You can grab things as you need them. Keep yourself organized. This would be great to keep, you know, your receipts in, a little sketchbook, some pens. So it closes up with this piece of fold over elastic, super easy. And then it opens up to reveal a bunch of pockets. So it has a little bit of structure with some batting along the outer exterior piece. And then the interior pieces have a little bit of fusible interfacing in them just so that the pockets stand up nice and won't kind of sag over time. Gives the whole thing a little bit more structure. So on one side, we've got a pocket with an elastic edge to the top. So it has a little bit more room. You pleat along the bottom edge so that not only can you fit your notebook in here, but you can also fit some more stuff too. It's kind of like a gusseted treatment. Then on the other side of our backpack organizer, we have this open pocket here, this open pocket here. This is a pocket for pens that has some divider lines, so you can just slip your pens inside. And then this is a vinyl pocket. It's actually open on the lower edge, but since it's vinyl, it's a little bit sticky. So you put your ID in here. I have a little lens wipe and a business card. Your, school student can put their school ID in here, and it keeps it nice and tidy. So lots of different pocket options, lots of different ways to personalize this. And it comes together just as a simple series of rectangles with the options of making it as fancy as you want by adding quilting, machine embroidery, embellishing it to your liking. All right. And yes, Someone is saying this would be great to keep patterns that you're working on. That's a great idea because of all of these pockets, right? And oftentimes when we cut out our pattern pieces, they become so, they just get lost all over the place. So for each project you're working on, or when you're working on a specific project, you can organize all your pattern pieces in here, maybe put your instructions here, your pens, maybe a couple of sewing supplies or a fancy ruler. Everything you need for that one project is nice and contained. Then when your project is done, you can take everything out, maybe put it in a zip top and file it for later, and then put the things that you need for your next project in here. I mean, whoa, wouldn't we be so organized if we did that? That is a commitment, and I like it. All right. So first off, with the construction of this, we're going to, here's what it looks like in case it was a little bit hard to see while I'm moving it around. But this is what it looks like open. It's a little busy with my fabric choices, but I don't mind it. Honestly, I really loved all these fabrics. The colors go so well together. So call me busy. It's fine. First thing we're going to do is work on all those pockets and get them constructed and then sort of set them aside so that we can assemble this with everything all completed. So we're going to work first. You can work on whichever pocket you like to first. This one is our divider pocket for the pens. So what we're going to do is take our fabric rectangle for that pocket, fold it with right sides together so that the upper edge is that folded edge. Then we're going to sew the sides, or actually one side and the lower edge, because one of those raw edges we're going to leave raw and we're going to close it up when we add our backing piece. So that is the edge where we're going to turn our pocket right side out and give it a good press. Also, before turning right side out, you just want to kind of clip into the corner a little bit, obviously not through your stitching line, but just to reduce the bulk along the corner that's going to be showing on the outer portion of your backpack organizer. So trim that little bit off, turn it right side out, use your Sulky multi-purpose turning tool, which I use in all these pockets and to turn the whole thing right side out. Use this to kind of run it along those seam lines on the bottom and side edge and to poke out your corners nicely and gently. Then we're going to top stitch this so that all of those edges are nice and, shut. Then we're going to set that one aside and we're going to work on our elastic pocket. So this pocket has elastic along that upper edge. So first we're going to fold our fabric in half with right sides together to create a fold line that's going to be the upper edge of our pocket. Then you're going to take your piece of elastic and place it up against that fold line. Then you will fold your fabric over the elastic so that the elastic is inside of those layers, and you're going to create a little casing. So before we sew it, back together or sew the pocket side, we're just going to baste that one elastic end in place so it doesn't go anywhere. Now it's there and the upper edge is right up against that pressed fold line. So now we can sew along that entire long edge, right sides together. You can see a little bit of the elastic right there at the top. Then you're going to sew that side edge and you're going to sew the lower edge as well. We're going to leave an opening for turning along that lower edge. So we're going to sew both side edges, or actually no, I'm sorry. There's so many pockets in here. I have to organize my thoughts. So we're going to sew the one side edge and the lower edge, leaving one side edge open. And our elastic is kind of free at this point. So we want to make sure it's not getting caught in the stitch in the other stitches. All right, so we're going to turn it right side out. And you can see I've got a little bit of elastic poking out. and I need to sew along the lower edge of that elastic to create my elastic casing. So now my elastic isn't going to move around. It's caught in the casing stitches and everything is right side out. Here is my casing stitches being sewn after it's turned right side out. And the elastic end is still free along one of those edges. So what we're going to do after we sew that casing seam is we're going to pull our elastic ever so slightly to gather that upper edge. And it looks like we're gathering it to about 10 inches. All of the dimensions, cutting instructions, all of that are included in the Sulky blog post that I linked to in the description of today's post. So you will find the full tutorial with all that information, what dimension we're gathering it to, all of that is in the blog post for you. So you'll gather that upper edge to about 10 inches, I think. And then we're going to clip that in place so it doesn't go anywhere and just sew along the elastic end so that our gathering is all completed and our elastic is enclosed in that casing seam. So now we have, we can trim off the excess elastic, and our upper edge is going to be slightly smaller than our lower edge now because the upper edge, of course, is gathered. So we are going to pleat that bottom edge so that the upper edge dimension matches the lower edge dimension, and we have a little bit of gusseted, space for extra stuff in this pocket. So we're going to place that elastic upper edge pocket on our interior rectangle, and we're going to match up that upper edge with just half of our rectangle width. All right. So notice how the bottom is much larger than that top edge. So we're going to do just a free form pleat, little box pleat, and clip or pin that whole lower edge in place so that your pleat doesn't go anywhere. It looks nice and centered. And now we're just going to sew that lower edge to keep our pleat in place and sew both side edges so that our pocket is on the interior rectangle and it's not going to go anywhere. So you can see it's really taking shape really easily and quickly here. Now we're going to start working on the other pockets. And as I mentioned, there are 3 pockets plus the vinyl pocket that I added as well. So first you're going to fold your, let me move this picture. First you're going to fold this fabric rectangle in half and give it a press. That's your, I forget how I mentioned it in the post, the outer pocket maybe, or the innermost pocket. Then you're going to create your middle pocket rectangle piece by folding your fabric right sides together and just top stitch along that fold line. And now we're going to be working with just this pocket to add this pocket piece. All right. So we're going to take our reserved pen pocket, we'll call it, put it over that middle pocket piece so that we're aligning the raw edges. And you want to mark your pocket lines on that reserved pocket and stitch down those pocket lines. So now we have a little pocket for each little pen or pencil that we want to include in our organizer. All right, so here is what that middle pocket looks like with our pen pocket on top. Now we are going to top stitch our vinyl pocket in place. And I love using a clear vinyl here for something like an ID or, your gym ID or maybe a key card or something like that. As I mentioned, the vinyl is a little bit sticky, which kind of, is in your favor here because that means you put your ID in there, it's not going to fall out necessarily. You might want a little bit more security if it is a key card, something like that. So you could do a little bit more stitching along the lower edge. Just don't stitch all the way across. So you can, you know, kind of slide your key card in there, and there's a little bit of stitching that's going to help it from, you know, not falling out. But I designed this so it's completely open. So that is your choice. You could also add another just fabric pocket here and make the opening along the side rather than along the bottom. These types of things. So just be mindful of that. So I used a vinyl that has a little bit of a print to it. It has like this white cheetah print, really cute, but you could still see through it. So you're going to place that little vinyl rectangle over the top of your middle pocket piece and then stitch it down along 3 edges, whether that is, you know, the lower edge, the side, and the upper edge, or, you know, how I've done it in the pattern. That is up to you. And since vinyl is a little bit sticky and we can't pin through it or we will create permanent holes, you want to use Clover Wonder clips to clip this in place before top stitching. And if you have a Teflon foot, that's really helpful. If you have an anti-glue needle, which we have at sulky.com, those are really helpful for going through sticky things. Or you can also take some clear invisible tape like Scotch tape and put a piece on the underside of your presser foot and cut it to size. Then when you are sewing over the vinyl, that Scotch tape, you know, gives it a little bit of coating so that it glides over the vinyl without sticking. You can also lengthen your stitch length a little bit to maybe 3.0 or 3.5 so that you're not perforating the vinyl with your stitching. All right, so now we're going to assemble with all of our pockets. So we have our interior rectangle with our elastic topped pocket already sewn down. You're going to put your first pocket piece down, aligning the upper, lower, and side edge. And it already has that top stitched fold on it. Then we're going to put the pocket we just worked on over the top of that other pocket. So we've got pocket 1, pocket 2, vinyl pocket, pen pocket. Everybody with me? All right. Now that everything is layered and in place, we are going to stitch the whole perimeter to make sure everything, all those raw edges are nice and secured. So I have added some clips along our raw edges of our pockets, along that vinyl seam, and you're just going to stitch that whole side with the layered pockets down. Now we can work on our exterior rectangle. This is what's going to have our batting attached to it, which gives it a little bit of loft, gives it a little bit of structure, and then we can add some pretty quilting to it. I love how it kind of helps the outer edge like puff out a little bit. It gives it a really, you know, nice finished look to it. So we're going to prepare a little bit of a quilt sandwich. We've got our batting down. We're going to spray it with KK2000, and then we're going to smooth our exterior rectangle over the top. So we have spray basted those layers together. Now you can add whatever kind of quilting you want. It's really hard to see my plotted quilting lines in this picture. I'll try to make it larger for you to see. I took a removable marking pen and I just marked down that center line where my backpack organizer is going to be folded. And then I created just some chevron lines across the exterior fabric. And I did them about, maybe 2.5 inches apart, something like that. And I just stitched along the lines. You can add as much quilting here as you like, or you can add an embroidery design to the front and or the back. This would be a really cute project for a monogram if you're giving this away as a gift. Everybody likes a little bit of personalization, and maybe you have a matching pencil case with the same monogram with your leftover fabrics, something like that. So you can really do whatever you would like to do for your exterior piece. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. All right, so let me make this a little bit smaller so I can get back on track. Once you have plotted your quilting lines, you will simply want to stitch along them. I still use the 50 weight thread for my quilting so that it blended in. But if you want a little bit more prominent quilting, you can use our 30 weight cotton thread. You just want to go up to a size 90-14 needle if you are going with a thicker thread. All right, so now we need to put our fold over elastic in place along that exterior quilted rectangle. You'll notice that my fold over elastic is a little bit smaller than the height of my exterior rectangle. That is on purpose so that when we fold it over to the front to close it, it is nice and tight and secure. See how once we fold it over, it looks like it's exactly the right dimension. We need a little bit of that, otherwise it's not going to hold it tight. It's just going to be limp on there. So it's about an inch shorter than it needs to be. So you'll see how the edges of my fabric are kind of, curling up because the elastic is shorter. So just keep that in mind. You're going to, sorry, I've dropped a bunch of things here in my, extreme organization. All right. So we're going to clip the ends of our elastic in place and just baste them so that they don't go anywhere. Now our exterior is ready to be sewn to our interior piece with all the pockets. So we're going to place them right sides together. Now you can see this is the wrong side of my interior piece that has all those pockets attached. I have fusible interfacing on that piece. That really helps give it structure and also give it support for all those pockets that we've attached to it. So I've got my interior piece with pockets, right side facing my exterior piece with elastic, and we're going to clip the whole perimeter and sew it. After we've sewn it, we're going to clip the corners because it's a little bit bulky here. We have that batting, we have the interfacing, we have all those pocket layers all along that outer edge. That's also what's giving it kind of this puffy look along the outside edge. So I love that additional top stitching that kind of sets it off and also gives us a little bit more security to make sure nothing's going to go anywhere as we use it. So we're going to clip into those corners, reduce some of that bulk, and we're going to turn it right side out. So we need to leave an opening for turning. Once we turn it right side out, fold the opening seam allowances toward the wrong side, clip them shut. I actually added clips along the entire perimeter because we're going to be doing some top stitching now. And again, we have a bit of bulk. So adding those clips along all of the bulk along that outer edge just kind of squishes it down a little bit for us for when we're adding the top stitching. So before you add the top stitching, since it's about a 1/2 inch in from the perimeter, first you want to hand sew your opening shut. Normally we would close the opening with our top stitching seam, but since we're top stitching so far into the project, we want to make sure to just slip stitch our opening shut with a little bit of hand stitches. Not a big deal, won't take a long time, and it's going to look much nicer if you do it that way. So now we're going to add our top stitching about a 1/2 inch or maybe even 5/8 of an inch from the outer edge, so we get that little poofy edge and enclose all of those pocket edges, everything like that, with some extra stitches. Now you can see how, poofy it is. You can move that elastic into the wrong side, but notice how we've got to move our elastic out of the way when we're doing our top stitching. So when you get to your elastic edge, be sure to move it away from the stitches. And then once you pass by it, you can move it back. And then when you obviously get to the other end, you want to do the same thing so that your elastic isn't caught in your top stitching seam. All right, so here's what it looks like from the right side. You can see I just have a little bit of subtle quilting. You can obviously do more quilting or embroidery or all kinds of things to personalize this how you like it. You can even piece together, your exterior fabric, use a quilting design, do a bunch of half square triangles like behind me, and make that the exterior of your organizer. So lots and lots of different ways to make this your own. All right, so here is that opening that I'm closing with my hand stitches. So if you prefer, you can wait until you've done the top stitching to close that opening if you would like. I'm not sure if I did that on purpose, or maybe I forgot to close the opening before I did the top stitching. But at any rate, you'll want to finish that up and make sure that your opening is nice and shut. All right, and here's what it looks like when we put our fold over elastic around to the right side and it's nice and closed, and all of our things inside are a little bit more secure because of our elastic and how it folds over the edge. All right, and again, just dropping stuff left and right here. Here's our little vinyl pocket. You can see the lens wipe, business card, you name it, you could put it in there. Slide a key card in there, an ID, something like this. We've got our cute little pens in their slots, 2 pockets on this side, and they are nice and roomy. I've got a pack of colored pencils in one and a notebook in the other. And then a larger notebook. This is just a college rule standard notebook that fits in the elastic pocket with room to spare. So you can really fit a lot in this cute little project. Throw it in a tote bag, throw it in a backpack, throw it in your travel bag, and you're nice and organized and ready to go. And again, the full tutorial is up now on the Sulky blog at blog.sulky.com. I also link directly to it in the description of today's post, so you can find it there as well. And yes, Kathy, lots of options for personalization. So I can't wait to see your take on this project, because this is really just a springboard to get your creative juices flowing, and then you can really make it your own. All right. So a little bit ago, someone was asking me about the mystery box. I can't find it right now, but I did want to make you all aware we are very, very low on our summer mystery boxes, and you should check them out at sulky.com. Once they're gone, they're gone. Very, very few remain. And on our Stitch and Post Facebook page, I was going to show you my tote, but I can't find it right now. I always think I have something right next to me and it vanishes. How is that possible if I'm so organized? Maybe I'm not as organized as I thought. At any rate, on our Stitch and Post Facebook group, you'll find a lot of people are opening their mystery boxes and sharing the things that they're making with the items inside. So if you want some more inspiration, or if you want some more sneak peeks on what our summer mystery box has inside, you can take a look at our Stitch and Post Facebook page and see what everyone's up to and what everyone's making with the beautiful fabrics and threads and notions and gifties that are all included for one great special price on that mega mystery box. All right, well, thanks for joining me, everyone. Be sure to register for our Pinnacle Table Runner webcast happening August 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll see you next Tuesday for another So What? And shout out to everybody joining us in Ireland. We leave on Saturday. That's right. I can't wait to see you all at JFK. We'll meet at the airport and we will get on our flight to Ireland together. And I'm just so very excited, and very excited to share with you all about our trip. I'm going to take videos, tons of pictures that I can share with you. And it will just make you all want to sign up for Bali and India and Greece and everything that we have in the coming months and year. And yes, I'm almost packed too, Colleen. Can't wait to see you. And I'll see you all next Tuesday for another